go. Oh, so I know last time we were talking about settings, we didn't really get through all of it, and we were talking about it as the match was starting. So these are my personal settings for why is this on 20? Holy, should be like, uh, yeah. Anyways, so generally speaking, on Mercy, uh, this one is some people call it personal preference. I personally think it's a lot better off. And then this one always needs to be off. Because this is not personal preference. Guardian Angel prefers beam target is personal preference. It depends a lot on how much you play with like Faras and how much you want to abuse certain techs. So there are certain things you can do with this on that you can't do with it when it's off, and vice versa, right? So something you can do when it's on that's really important is the ability to fly around a corner, right? Or like so if a Farah flies over a corner or a wall, right? You can still fly to her even as long as your beam is still attached to her, even if you can't see her, which happens a lot with Farah, right? It also happens with snipers in certain cases. It lets you do certain techs that you can't do without access to this. There's one where like if shoot, I'll just show you. Where is it? All right. That guy. Let me get up to him. Oh, I missed. Ah, disaster. All right, peek me, please. I messed up. No. Are you serious? All right, there we go. All right, so this works a lot on like high grounds that are like have sharp edges. Those works on like Iconwald Bridge, for example, is you can drop, right, and then you can get a lot of bonus height, right, because like just the way the angles work, right. And this is really strong because you spend a lot of time underneath, right, and you can just keep going back up, right. And this is really good for snipers as well, right. Just need to get careful not to get stuck on like the corner there. But it's a really strong tech that works in a lot of scenarios, and you can only do it with Guardian Angel prefers beam target on because you can't see him, right? When you're breaking the LOS under the bridge or under the whatever the case may be, right? So that's a really strong example of like why the setting is powerful. The advantages that you get from turning it off is that you can fly to people while having the beam attached. So I saw you doing this in the scrim, right? Like you can have the beam attached to this guy and heal him or damage boost him, right? And then you can fly over here. So I don't feel like turning it off, so I'm not going to show it. But it gives you advantages in that regard, right? This is something you can replicate with Guardian Angel prefers beam target on. It's just harder, right? So in order to like heal this guy, right, I have to like do this, right? I have to do like a lot of flicks where I can just like I have to let go of the beam, right? Which is why toggle beam should be off because it's a bit easier to have control of the beam of when you let go without having to like click on the ground or something, right? So here like you can have this attached, right? And I want to heal him as I'm leaving, right? Oh shoot. I didn't even hit shift. I messed up. I didn't I didn't look far enough back. 1 sec. I haven't done this in a while. Right, so in order to like heal him as I'm leaving, right, I'd have to do that. Right? And that's a lot harder to do if you don't have Guardian Angel prefers beam target off. So that's the main advantage of that. But I will say there are things that you can't do at all without Guardian Angel prefers beam target on, and it'll be feel funky. So like just pick whatever you think will work best for you. Don't really care about that one. That one's more of like personal preference. I'm just letting you know the possibilities and like what each one allows, right? Toggle Guardian Angel though needs to be off. Like it's a killer when it's on, and this should be off generally, in my opinion, unless you like wrist issues that prevent you from holding down a button very hard. But yeah. Anyways, back to the VOD review. Where is it? Armora? Yeah, it's Armora. That's not you. So one really important thing to get used to as Mercy is just not being close to people. So especially when you're walking out, right? There's no reason to stand next to this guy who will probably take shots from like potentially a Hanzo or something. And you just risk dying if you walk out like this, right? Like you could eat a lot. You can eat a Hanzo locked. You might say, "Oh, that's so unlucky," right? But like you really didn't get unlucky. You didn't need to be here, right? You can just be like here and not have any risk of dying whatsoever with the same effect, right? The thing to note about Mercy Beam is that it's got like a 15-meter range. That's kind of abstract, but it's fairly long, right? And then on top of that, it has like a 2 to 3 second like forgiveness window where like if you're outside of range or like say for example you walk around a corner, right? The beam will stay attached for 2 to 3 seconds. I don't remember exactly how long it is. I think it's 3, but it might be 2. in which case the beam is still attached, but you're not an LOS, right? So one thing, and like you can use this to spend a lot of time just like not even looking at your own teammates, right? Like if you're here, right, and assuming this guy doesn't move, right, you can just like jiggle peek this, where you just like kind of poke your nose out every like second or two, right, and you can maintain the beam without ever like exposing yourself even to like the same sightlines as players. So if like a tracer comes around, right, suddenly just like to dive like this guy, right, you're not even in the same frame, right, while you're still beaming this guy, right. And likewise, you can do this with range as well. So if you're out here, right, you can do a short hop GA, right, and just like tap the button essentially, get a short distance, right, and essentially reacquire beam range, get back in beam range, and then walk back out. And I'm just gonna show this again. I do this every Mercy video, I think.
I'll be watching over you.
All right, so like this is let's find the maximum beam range. 1 second. Alright, so this is maximum beam range. So I can hold this for a couple seconds, right? But if I step outside, it lasts for a couple seconds, and then it breaks, right? So the thing to note is I can walk out, right? And then I can short hop GA, right? And I'm playing outside the range of the thing, and I'm still maintaining the beam, right? I messed up. But like that's the general concept, right? And that's a really core skill for Mercy because it lets you play like way out of range of what people normally. I jumped at the end. Whoops. Way out of range of what they normally expect for a Mercy, right? So like imagine a tracer like who sees the beam right around the corner. Right? They see this guy with the beam, right? They're like, oh, I'm gonna chase the Mercy. And they blink over here, and you're all the way over there, right? Like, like imagine like a tracer's disappointment, right? That's kind of how you need to think, right? Like just like play as far away from your team as you can. Put as many corners between you and the enemy team as you can, right? And then yeah, these are like core skills for Mercy. The second thing you need to know, as well, the second core skill I guess is like slingshotting. I'm pretty sure you know about it. But you can like, if you press spacebar, like at a certain point on your GA, right, you fly past that guy, and there's a lot of things you can do with this. Like this is probably one of the core mechanics is like you can change directions, right? That's a really important thing because it lets you like prevents you from running into this. It lets you run around corners. So like for example, if I'm being chased by an enemy hero right behind me, right, I can like, oh, I messed up. He's too close to this corner. So one thing I could do is if I'm getting chased, right, I can like fly past this guy and put this corner between me and him, right? And again, I can still keep the beam attached as long as they peek this enough, right? But these are like core skills for Mercy, like manipulating this slingshot jump and also playing outside of beam range all the time, right? And this way, I don't even like. First of all, like I'm not standing next to this guy, so I'm not getting shot by AOE. So if this is like I don't know a random junk grenade, it's not gonna hit me, right? And second, I'm playing really far away from this guy, right? So like, sorry. So because I'm not playing right on top of him, I'm not getting shot by random things. And then also because I'm playing so far away, like I can put extra corners between me and them, right? Right. So I can do this, and I have like as much of an angle as possible between me and like the bad guys over there, right? Like, and I can also manipulate this with GA, right? So, right. And if with my settings, I can actually do this like between walls, right? I can like I messed that up. So I can get really far away, then I can do this, right? Reattach the beam, right? And it's just really strong. Because it's just so hard to catch you if you spend so much time away from your teammates. And then on top of that, the further away you are from a teammate, the farther you can go with GA, right? So, like, for example, if a Genji were to dash on me, right, and I fly away from him, I'm all the way over here now, right? This Genji is never going to catch me ever again, right? And this is a really powerful tool. Oh my gosh, I keep messing up. But yeah, it's a really powerful tool. Because, like, the further away you are, again, like, if people chase you, and then, like, if you're right next to this guy, right, not only is this guy taking damage along with you, right, you also can't fly very far, right? And then you don't really escape at all, right? And then you get caught, right? Whereas if you're all the way back here, right, pocketing this ash or something, and then you get jumped, right? You fly away, and there's like the next best thing is hitting a guy that you're pocketing from a range that they're not even optimal for. Like if Genji dashes for you, right? Yeah, that's pretty far for him to like chase down into someone else, right? Or like a monkey, right? And then second is like if they do get gone on, right? You're not being hit alongside them, right? And you're just pocketing that guy, and you're doing your job, right? That's great. But these are things that you have to think about when you're playing Mercy. Alright. Sorry. I know we didn't even make it to first fight. I'm sorry. Alright. But anyways, but you see how you're playing really close to this guy, right? And then instead of playing around the corner, instead of waiting here, like in the exact example we were talking about, and just like pocketing this guy until you have to move, right? You walk around the corner, the shield breaks. Imagine if we got logged right now. This wouldn't be unlucky, this would be on you.
Your support has arrived.
Right, so like this is good that you don't walk in front because you can die like this. So it's good that for you to realize like, oh, I don't want to peek the main choke, and you drop, right? But that's kind of like, again, everything needs to be like about LOS on this hero. Right, so this is extremely dangerous. See this, right? You're peeking everything. If you get logged right now, this is on you, right? And you don't need to do this, right? So like, if you're gonna fly to this guy, just make sure you drift in this way. You did the same thing with main. Just make sure you're consistent on this, because this is like, again, you don't want to see the enemy team very much as Mercy. Yeah, I'm doing some more VOD reviews. I'm going until 3:30, I think. If you want to res this guy, if you're like assuming that the enemy team isn't pushing this, which they're not actually, you can like dash over this guy, super like slingshot past him, right? And you land on this side. You can start the res and then slide around the corner, and you'll be safe, right? Yeah, this is still a little risky. Just keep in mind that like if you do want to res this and they're not pushing, like as long as the Ryan's not dropping, this res is still doable. May not be the best res, but
Let me get you patched up. I'm here.
yeah. See, if you're too close to teammates, you can't jump. it feels very bad. The jump doesn't go anywhere.
I've got you.
No, this is not GM. This is one of my high schoolers. Again, right? Like, if you want to beam this tracer, you can totally beam this tracer from back here, right? And you don't need to be in this room, and so that way if the Hanzo comes around the corner, right, like you're much more prepared to like run away, and it's also harder to shot for him, right, as opposed to being right here next to the tracer. And if he misses the tracer when you're right next to the tracer, right, like it's more likely to actually just kill you, right? So like, don't be in the same like field of view as your tracer, right? I don't think it's that frosted. Ahi.
Where does it hurt? Healing stream engaged. Next target.
Alright, this is good. Generally speaking, your emphasis on who you're pocketing was almost always right during the scrim, so I was pretty happy to see that. I didn't have to tell you to stop healing other people to like stay on your pocket very much, which is like a very common problem for your average ladder Mercy. Is like they just like are so focused on healing they don't understand that their general like concept is to pocket. This is a bit scary. You're really close to the enemy team, but yeah. So this is a minor thing, but like if you're trying to hide, right, stay like close to walls, right? Because this wall, like if this guy walks around the corner, right, like a McCree or something, he sees you very quickly right here. But if you're against the wall, the same relative distance, right, he has to walk all the way around the corner to shoot you, at no matter where on the corner you are, right? So it's like very difficult for him to like push you from here, like because he doesn't necessarily know where you are, right? If like or a Reinhardt for example, right? But if like the Reinhardt were to come around the corner, he could see you here, and then he could just like, oh, I'm gonna shatter right now, or I'm gonna pin or something, and like you'd have to react to this as opposed to like him just not even knowing you're here, right? This is a scrim, yeah. Again, don't panic. Don't follow people around too much, right? Rely on your shift to carry you through a lot of situations, right? So if your guy gets pushed, right? So this monkey drops and starts going on your echo, right? And when your echo starts going through the window, then you fly towards the echo, right? But don't try to walk out the echo with your, walk out the window with your echo, because you're actually likely going to take like a lot more damage, right? Because you're with that guy. The monkey's beaming both of you guys. So I was talking about how like you want to create situations where there's a lot of separation between you and your target, you and your like pocket, so that way like when a monkey goes on you, you can't get both of you at the same time, right? So if like if you stay here, right? And this guy jumps on your, I'll just show it third person so you see what I'm talking about. Right, so, like, if you were still here, you stayed here, right, and your echo started going back out this way, right, he could only beam one of you two, right? And if he, like, beams your echo, eventually your echo gets clear of him, or, like, starts falling out the window, and then you just fly past him, fly past her with the slingshot, right? And you take, like, very minimal damage, right? And you very low risk, right? Or he starts zapping you, and you just like as soon as your echoes like gets to the window, right? Like as soon as you create any kind of separation, you just fly towards the echo. You're chilling. But like generally speaking, like you're just trying to play too close to the person you're pocketing. It's it's causing you to take a lot of extra damage.
You should be at peak performance level. The objective is mine.
Good pocket. Ignore that low HP Sigma. That's not your problem.
My ultimate.
But again, right? You don't need to be here, right? You can be right here and beat. Way safer, right? Like you don't need to see the enemy team. That's for losers. Right, so again, you don't need to be peeking here, right? You can be right here and be just totally safe, right? And then when this guy starts flying out, then you can consider this, right? But like you don't need to like swing out before you Valk here.
Heroes never die. I'm taking care of you.
Oh, you're gonna die to this? Yeah. So this is another really important thing. I don't know exactly how much Mercy you played, but Valkyrie in a lot of cases is like safety, right? Like height is safety, but cover is still really important against, especially hit scan ults, right? Namely, Tac Visor and High Noon, right? So if they, or Bomb, Diva Bomb, right? If they have any of these three ultimates, you need to be extremely careful just about holding spacebar as soon as you press Valk. A lot of Mercies just do it by default, right? But cover is still really important, right? So when you're flying out, make sure you like hug these pillars, right? And then maybe you can like slingshot over here to like to get behind walls faster, right? So you climb up, right? And you realize the High Noon's starting. Like you look at your Zen, you slingshot past them. You go even faster with during GA when you're in Valk, and then you get behind cover. Also, important thing to note also is that your beam range becomes much longer during Valk as well. So you can like maintain like you can take the what we're talking about where you can stretch your beam length even further with Valk because you can your GA is both faster and you move faster. So you like and your beam is longer as well. So like normally like you would heal someone from high ground to like I don't know like here, right? That seems pretty reasonable, right? But with Valk, right, you can be like all the way back here and they can be even further out probably like maybe like on like touching point. You could still heal them. And if they were further, right? If they're further out, you can like walk. You could like fly forward a bit, or sorry, you could fly back a bit with the beam connected, and then like dash forward a little bit, and you can do the same thing, just even more extreme of a distance, right?
Immer unterbricht mich bei der Arbeit.
Yeah. So that's the advantage we talked about with the current settings, right? Is that you can fly away while healing someone, right? But yeah. Yeah, it would probably be better. So someone in my chat brought up that like when you're Valking, right? It's actually in a lot of cases safer to be above the enemy team in this case, right? So like right here, they're all on point, right? They can't shoot someone directly above them, right? It's really hard. Plus you have cover. So in certain cases, like you might feel safer being away from the enemy team, but again, you don't actually want to see the enemy team, right? So if you're over here, you can actually be seen by the enemy team, whereas here, like paradoxically, even though you're relatively close to them, you're above them, so you can't actually be seen by them, right? So this is one of the cases where like this can actually be like very safe. And yeah, something to consider, right? Unfortunate. Oh, the disrespect.
We still need you. Thanks for the second chance.
So this is a case. So earlier we talked about the situation where your settings were good, right? Like you heal the Sigma while you're flying away, right? But this is a situation where the other setting would be much better, right? Where like you lost your echo, well it doesn't matter. You could just like you wouldn't even need to look at her. You could hold shift and you'd fly to your echo, right? You'd clear this corner and you'd be up here, right? So again, something to consider instead of having to try and like get the LOS and it gets all messy and stuff. Right, so instead of like having to wait here, right, and get LOS first, right, you could just like fly.
Healing stream engaged.
Get your Zen, nice. He died anyways, unfortunate. Alright, reset. Alright, I'll probably watch one more fight of this.
Immer unterbricht mich der Arbeit.
Oh, unfortunate.
Ultimate reaching maximum charge.
Going free.
Like a man possessed.
Quite the boost. Let me get you patched up.
Ooh, okay. Be careful. Your back is turned to the enemy team. So this is falls under like the topic of like camera control, right? But like you're spending so much time trying to like look at your own team that you're not actually looking at the enemy team, like where they're coming from. And it's making it difficult to actually like understand like the threat, right? Like if this Ryan's like if there's a big difference between this Ryan right here and a Ryan like coming out here trying to swing at you, right? And you don't really know that outside of like basic sound cues, because you're not looking there at all, right? You have your whole back turn. You're not like playing away from the choke. You're not like hanging out like you were over here initially, and in order to get LOS, you walked in this direction towards enemy team with your back turn, right? So be really careful. Like try to like spend like as Mercy, like you don't really have to like aim, right? So you can spend a lot of time just looking at anything you want really. If you're having trouble like LOSing this, like again, like you want to emphasize like playing with cover and playing away from the enemy team, right? So you want to play like here, right? And if like you need a peek, that's fine, right? But just make sure you don't peek for very long, or just like hang out back here and just like ask them to come to you to heal, to get healed. But be careful, like again, you don't want to be seen by the enemy team much, right? And you also need to see the enemy. You need to know what the enemy team is doing, and you can do that just by like looking at this corner and see if anyone's walking out, right? You're spending like a lot of mental energy just trying to like heal your team. Oh! Right. You look, you can actually be seen by this window, right? So when you start this res, first of all, like look where you can get shot from, right? And then like edge yourself out of frame, right? So if someone's looking here, they can actually see you, right? They see you pretty clearly, right? But if you just like, you can start the res A from a little bit further away, right? And then B, like once you start the res, if you turn and you see that that they can see you, right? You can see any part of the window, right? Just like start just like edging out of frame, like oh you guys don't see me, never mind. But yeah, just be really careful with this. Like, don't just like blind res and decide to like, oh, I'm fine. Shut up, Ahi.
This is not your time. Mercy in the Reichsstag.
All right, so I'll probably end it here. A lot of your problems are just I think relatively fundamental, right? So like camera control. This is more of like a higher level thing, but it's something you want to consider because like you don't really do this a lot. Where like for example, when you're here, you don't spend a lot of time just like checking to make sure you're getting pushed from here, right? Like because you don't need to spend a lot of time looking. So I guess the way to think about it is like you want to get very comfortable with the concept of not being close to your teammates, right? And figuring out methods to like still maintain beam and like follow them around very efficiently without having to like spend a lot of mental energy on it, right? And once you get used to that, then you can start devoting a lot of your extra camera time, right, to like looking for the enemy team. Like, is there a tracer pushing me, right? Like, for example, like you can be healing somebody, but there could be a tracer flanking, right? And if you don't, you won't know that unless you look, right? So I said how you don't want to see the enemy team a lot. But if you do see the enemy team, it's very important. So don't put yourself in situations where you do get seen, right? But if you see an enemy, that's also really important because it lets you call them out, lets you respond to what they're doing, right? Yeah. I think the texts at the very start of this video are probably the most important thing for you. Just get used to those general concepts, right? The ability to like the slingshot, to move the direction of the slingshot, angle it, I guess, and then also like the idea of playing outside of your beam range because it'll keep you safer. Once you get used to that, like it'll make things feel a lot nicer. So yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll end the video here.